Welcome to the Spiritual AF Life podcast, a magical place where your host, Heather Danielle, psychic medium, will bring the mystical woo-woo world down to earth in practical ways. Tune in every Monday for your weekly reading and on Wednesdays to hear fascinating conversations with spiritual experts, uplifting stories, and deep dives into the metaphysical world, all to help you tap into the invisible guidance that's all around you. It's time to start living a spiritual AF life. Get cozy, the conversation is starting now.
Welcome back to the Spiritual AF Life podcast. I am your host, Heather Danielle, psychic medium. So happy that you are joining me because on today's episode, I am going to give you real, tangible things that you can do on a daily basis to help you hone in on your intuition so that you can make your life easier. So your intuition, your psychic abilities, your mediumship abilities, all these things every single person has on this earth, they are not gifts. They are skills. And the more that you practice them, then the more that they will be easier for you to use. And it does not mean that you have to become a professional psychic medium and you have to do readings for people and things like that. No, you can use this skill to make your life easier, less stressful. You can decrease anxiety. OMG, the ways that my life has just become so peaceful and calm and sometimes uneventful. And that is because I rely on my intuition every single day. Your intuition is going to be the foundation of your psychic and mediumship gifts. Okay, so that's what we're really going to focus on today is your intuition. And we're going to get into it because I don't know if you know, but on Sundays, I host Coffee and Cards. So every single Sunday at 9 a.m., I go on and I use my intuition and I do card readings. And it is a lot of fun and we have such a great group. I just feel like we're all a little family. You are part of this family as well. And so I actually have created the Coffee and Cards Club. Now, you might have heard of that. That is a club that I created because we had so many awesome peeps in the Coffee and Cards. I was like, oh my gosh, we have to create a community. I have to create a community of these awesome people who maybe want to practice reading their own cards or reading for other people, and they need other spiritual peeps in their life because it is no secret that a lot of times we are outcasted because of our beliefs. You know, we are called like devil worshippers and things like that and new age hokey pocus and all this other stuff. And it's like, seriously, like this stuff is grounded more in freaking reality than other religions. Like this is backed up by physics and freaking laws of science. So it's kind of crazy that people talk that way and think that this is nuts. Cause I'm like, wait a second, I think that you're nuts, but whatevs, you know, part of being a light worker, if you will, is, trying to be of love and light, even when people are, sorry, but when they're buttholes. And so the reason I'm bringing this up is because in the Coffee and Cards Club, we are doing a thing for the month of July where you could choose either to work on up-leveling your spiritual gifts. So that means, okay, maybe you want to really hone on your intuition. I'm going to give you practices for that. If you're like the beginner, if you are wanting to be psychic, I can, give you those things and those tips and all those things. And I'm going to give you the homework so that you can really start honing on your psychic gifts. And then we're also going to be doing the mediumship as well. So intuition is yourself, it's your inner. All right. Your psychic abilities is actually reaching out to read energy that is not yours. And you might be getting help from like a person's aura, their energy, and you read them. And then your mediumship is talking to those on the other side. This is going to be like past loved ones. And you can keep on going up the levels a little bit into, channeling interdimensional beings and ascended masters and stuff like that. Those are ones that I don't really use. And I just want to take a caveat real quick and tell you, I don't do a lot of that just because it's very difficult sometimes to get that evidence. And I'm very much an evidence-based person. So when you come to me for a reading, I'm always like, okay, let me get evidence that this is this person in spirit that I'm talking to. Is this the way they passed? Does this month make sense to you? You know, they're telling me X, Y, and Z. Does this match their personality? So I want to make sure that's quick evidence and you can tell me yes or no. When you are working with the higher dimensional beings and stuff, or ascended masters and angels, sometimes it's very difficult to provide that evidence or to get that evidence for yourself, because it's like, okay, you're an angel. What are you going to tell me that I can verify it's you? You know, it's very difficult because they were never born. So it's almost like they don't have a birthday. You know, they are very angelic and they're very high vibrating. And so they don't really have a distinct personality. In a way they do, but it's not like, yeah, I love to barbecue and go fishing every summer. You know, like no freaking angel's telling you that. So, you know, an angel might be like, hey, I was around when Mary was around, you know, me and Jesus are BFFs, you know, like what else are they going to say? But I don't want to get too much into that. But I just want to say that if you are interested, you can still join us. It'll be a lot of fun. And if you are interested in spiritual business, we are also doing that challenge as well, where I help walk you through the steps of creating your own spiritual business. So it's very much a month about expanding. So whether or not you are with us or not in the Coffee and Cards Club, this is going to be a month of expansion. I don't know what's going on right now or what's going to be happening in August and stuff, but I have to tell you that Spirit is really encouraging us to step up in a bigger way. Now, that also might be that you need to rest more so that you can have more time to do other things throughout your week. Okay, so you might have to rest more on Sunday so that you can do more on Monday and Tuesday, but definitely you are being guided towards that. And you can always go to The Real Heather Danielle. That's me, therealheatherdanielle.com, and you can hit / Coffee and Cards Club to learn more about that. But for right now, everybody, we need to bring more spirit and more intuition into our daily lives, because it is just going to be so incredibly helpful. So here is one of the things that I do every single day, all of the time, literally, to make my life so much easier. And that is, I use my intuition to choose the most efficient route when I'm driving. You might have heard me talk about this before, okay? But what I do is that when I'm navigating through traffic, I trust my intuition to guide me towards the route with the least amount of congestion and that won't be delayed, okay? So it might go against everything that I'm thinking. Like, oh no, you think logically. You know, we don't want to think logically. We want to think about what we are feeling. Like if all of a sudden you start turning down a road and you're like, whoa, why am I turning down this road? Trust that you're turning down that road for a reason. Okay, this is where Spirit wants to guide you. If all of a sudden like you're going and all of a sudden you hit a red light, stop. Maybe that's Spirit saying, hey, you need to slow down, or maybe we're trying to tell you something. And what you do is that you tune into yourself. And this is really where getting to know yourself comes into play. So for me, I really notice gut feelings. That's a big thing that I feel with my intuition. But all of a sudden, I just might have a thought, or I might have a memory come back. And then I'm like, okay, maybe I do need to go down that route, because maybe the memory I have is of how one time I used this one road and oh my God, it was so incredibly quick. And it was like, how does not everybody else using this road? So maybe that's your sign. Or maybe you get a feeling like, ooh, I really need to use this road because even though this one doesn't have construction on it, it's going to be way faster. So you really need to tune in to yourself and then try to practice this. This is going to be a time. This is going to be an exercise in which it takes no extra time off of your back at all. You're going to be driving anyways. You might as well use your intuition to see if you can save yourself a little bit more time. And it's no skin off of your back. You don't have to meditate. You can just do this. And even if you already know your route, be like, Heather, no, I have to take this road to this road. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Well, then try to, basically navigate which lane you're going to be in. You know, are you going to be behind the slow person? Are you going to be behind this person? You know, and then also playing games too. I do this all the time. Where is that other person going in front of me? Are they going to turn left? Are they going to turn right? Sometimes I'll even start tuning into, are they male or female? Are they young or are they older? You know, do they have pets with them? Do they have people with them? And this is something that I do all of the time. And it's kind of like taking your intuition to the gym and you're just flexing it and you're exercising it. Am I right every single time? No, I'm not. But I'm right a lot of the time because my intuition is AF strong, right? So that is one of the most funnest ones. And by the way, I'm not sure if you heard the story, but I tell you what, it is worth hearing again because it is a mind-blowing. 2 stories actually. So the very first one was when I started practicing this, I was in a lot of traffic, okay? And I tuned in and I was like, which way should I go? And I thought my spirit guides were telling me to go right. So I'm like, sweet, I'll go right. That sounds good. So about a mile into going right, all of a sudden it's congested. There is like so many cars on the road. It is like insane, right? I'm like, oh my God, like I am going to die now. And I just say to my spirit guides, I'm like, why did you have me go down this road? This is crazy. Like, I don't ever want to talk to you again. Like, are you trying to bring more patience into my life? Because I need more patience. Who does it? But God doesn't bring us in more patient. He brings us in more opportunities to be patient. So that was irritating the F out of me, right? But I'm like, fine then. You know what? I am just going to sit here and be patient in this horrible traffic that is not moving that I felt like they put me in. So fine then, whatever. I'm going to be patient. I'm going to show spirit and my spirit guides, and I'm going to be so freaking patient. I'm going to be like a freaking monk inside of this crazy traffic. And so I could have walked home faster than this. And then when I get to the light, I realize that all of the lights are out in like this really, really congested and busy intersection. And I have to turn left. Okay, so it means I have to cross all sorts of traffic. Like I am going to be here probably for a zillion freaking years. And not even just that, but you have a little bit of anxiety because I have people behind me and all these things. And I'm just like, this is like the worst time ever. Like I'm never listening to spirit again. Like, why did I even ask this? And so I am trying to figure out what in the world that I'm going to do. And I'm trying to creep up a little bit. But then this woman who is on the opposite side of the road to me, now she is coming my way. And I am trying to like go left. So I'm not going to her way. But anyways, so she's coming my way. And she's slowly coming out. Everybody was stopped. Everybody knew what she was doing. She even had her little hand up. Was like, oh, thank you everybody for stopping for a little lady. You know, she wasn't that old, but you know, she was definitely cute. And so I am like, yes, as soon as she goes across, I am going to like I'm just going to hit my freaking gas and I'm going to turn. I almost turned right before she came out. I was like, oh yeah, she's going so slow. I'm just going to turn right in front of her. But I got this big gut feeling saying, don't do it. You are not in a hurry. And I was like, okay, I guess you're right. I'm not in a hurry. So I was like, all right, though, I'm going right after her. Like, this is my negotiating with my intuition or with spirit, you know? And so she is like creeping along and she's waving her hand and she's like, oh, thank you. And then I don't even know what happened. I'm sitting here waiting for her to cross over. And as soon as she gets like halfway across almost, it was like this SUV just dropped from the clouds and plowed right into her. I mean, right into her. Her car goes spinning. The SUV just crashes into people that were sitting there at the red light. And I am like stunned. So the first thing that I do is I take my phone and I throw it at my son who's in the passenger seat, and I said, call 911 now. And the second thing I did, yep, you guessed it, I made that turn. I struck while the iron was hot. I was like, I am making this turn because I know now that I am never going to get out of this turn ever. So I made the freaking turn, but I pulled over right when I turned, and I ran up to the car so I could help out the woman that was actually hit. There was a lot of people going towards the person with the SUV because she plowed into a lot of different cars. But the woman who I seen waving, that actually was the one that got hit, her car spun around a few times. And so then I was like able to call her husband for her, and I was able to like help her out a little bit, just keep her a little bit calm until the police arrived and stuff. And I was like, wow, maybe there's something to this. Because what if I wasn't there? Yeah, somebody else might have helped her. Maybe no one else would have. Like she was there, definitely frazzled. But I was the one that made this decision. Like, hey, who do you want me to call? Like, I need to call somebody. I was making these. And we stayed in touch for a while afterwards. Who knows what would have happened. Another story that I would like to tell you is I was following my husband, and we were going somewhere. I forget exactly where. Oh, no, I remember now. We were actually going to a car dealership thinking about getting another car, and I was following him, and I don't know why, but it annoys me being behind my husband because it's like he doesn't know how to navigate his car when somebody is following him. Does anybody else have anybody like that in their life where it's like, wait, no, you need to make sure there's enough room for both of us to be able to go through that light. And so what ended up happening was my husband just goes through like a yellow light or whatever, and I had to stop. But I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go left. I feel like I want to go left instead of going straight, and then maybe I'll get there before him. And so this is so funny if you haven't heard the story yet. So anyways, I go ahead, I make the left at the light, and now I am sitting there, the very first car at this light, and I'm just minding my own business, right? It's a freaking red light, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm waiting for my turn. Wow, right in front of me. You guys, this happened so incredibly fast. I'm like, oh my gosh, how in this world did this happen? This truck just barreled in and smashed this car with this like older lady in it, and her car spun, and then it almost like came and hit my car because I was like the first one in the red light. And I was like, oh my God, like it kind of scared me. Like, well, not kind of, it did scare me, especially because as soon as that happened, all of a suddenly, my husband was standing right next to my freaking window. I was like, oh my God, like, did I die or something like that? Or did he die? And now I'm seeing his ghost. It freaked me the F out. My husband was standing right there. Now remember, I was following him. So he was ahead of me. So how in the world is he now standing, not in his car, but he's standing next to me? And I rolled down my window. I'm like, are you here? Like, are you alive? Like, what's going on? He was like, I seen that you'd made a left turn. I turned back around. He was like, and he's like, I'm a couple cars behind you. But as soon as he saw the crash happen or he heard it, he knew that I was right there, and he ran up to see me, making sure that I was okay because the car was pushed and almost hit into me, but didn't, thank God. And I was like, oh my God, it was so crazy. So I don't know if your intuition will lead you into crazy things like that when you follow it for, traffic and your routes and stuff, but it definitely has with mine. With that one, I don't think that I stopped because there was a lot of other people that had stopped and was helping out both parties. So I was like, okay, like they're good, and I can move forward. But I have to tell you though, I definitely think twice about different routes that I take because I'm like, is spirit leading me to another crash? But I'm not in them, so that's really good. But I just wonder what will happen to you if you start using your intuition to navigate traffic. Will you get to places, on time? Will you have less stress? Will you have a lot more fun because you're playing this game on the road? Will this enhance your spiritual connection? Or will it be like me and you'll just have some really crazy AF stories to share with other people? Because guess what? All of those are freaking possible. All right. Now, I know that you have heard me talk about that before, but I also want you to use your intuition every day to evaluate, different kinds of opportunities and different kinds of job offers. Okay. So you might be like playing around. Maybe you're going to be on LinkedIn or something like that. And you're like, okay, what kind of jobs am I really guided towards? Maybe you can even pay attention to like different colors that you're getting. Maybe you should meditate beforehand and then see if you can get a name of a place that you should apply for, or get a color, or get what a logo would be, and then go on these websites and see like, okay, what are they guiding you towards? Is there any that were like that? That's happened to me in readings before with other people. I will give them like the name of the person that's going to email them, or I'll give them the name of the company or the logo. But sometimes it's not that easy, okay? Sometimes Spirit wants you to figure it out. Now, why in the world? Because that's just life. Life and your spiritual journey are just like a journey of finding yourself. So a lot of times they're not going to give you the answer, okay? They want you to find the answer. Does it suck? Yes, I agree with you. I just wish they would tell us what to do and just make it all easy, but they don't, okay? So we got to work with what we have. But the job offers is great. And here's the thing. It can also be for a job offer that you are already in, or like a different position of where you're already working. And you can play around with it. How do you feel? How does it feel if you maybe applied for a promotion and things like that? Really feel it. See like what your gut is telling you. And then who knows? Go ahead and apply for the job or the promotion anyways. So story time. Like I feel like I need like a bell when this happens. Okay, so story time. I am getting a massage. This was literally just a couple days ago. And my masseuse is like talking the whole time, which usually I don't like a lot of talking, but like I'm like, hey, it's happening for a reason. Maybe she has some good stories to share, and she did. And guess what? I'm sharing one of those stories with you. Well, her friend, and I think her friend was like in accounting or something, but it was around the time of the pandemic, et cetera, et cetera. I think it was a little bit later, maybe 2021. And she was just wanting a new job. I don't know. And she went online and she saw this one, and it was just like crazy. So outside of her league. She was definitely not qualified for it. And she was like, what the heck? What do I have to lose? And she applied for it. And in the application process, she had to write down what her salary requirement was. So she was like, you know what? $194,000 a year. That's a lot. That is a lot, right? And she had never made, I believe, over 6 figures, okay? But this was just crazy, and she was like, yeah, YOLO, live it up. It can't hurt just to fill out an application. What's going to happen? They're going to look at that price or whatever, that salary, and be like, she's crazy. Yeah, okay, she's crazy. And then you don't call her. No big deal. Okay? No skin off of her back. Get this. I think you know where I'm going with this. Yep. Her friend got that job. Her friend not only got that job, they said yes to her $194,000 a year, but it's also an easy job. She's like, I cannot believe that this is my job. She was like, it's so incredibly easy. She's like, I also enjoy the little work that I have to do. And she's like, I'm making so much money. And then her life just dramatically improved. And basically the lesson of this is you have to feel worthy. Go for it. Why not you? Oh my gosh. Like so often we're just like, oh yeah, what if it fails? What if it doesn't, man? What if it doesn't? You could just be like blowing your own mind here. You could be that one with that story of $194,000 paycheck for an easy job that you pretty much love. Okay, so the next one is going to be using your intuition for everyday life to help you make purchasing decisions. Yes, okay? So when you are shopping, rely on your intuition to choose things that feel right to you, okay? And also guide you towards like better sales, things that are better quality, okay? Or also things that are more aligned with what you're truly looking for. So you might fall in love with something, but if you tune in, you feel like there's something missing. This happens all the time when I am traveling. You have to do this, okay? If you are traveling, you know that they mark up things all of the time, okay, for tourists. And that just makes me really mad because I feel like that's just being greedy. There is a certain amount of capitalism that I feel is healthy, but then if people it's a little too much, okay? Especially when I collect tarot and oracle cards, and in one place I see them for $35, $40, $50, but then I go like a block away and they're $20 or whatever, or 15. And I'm like, whoa, don't like that other store no more. Why are they trying to price gouge me? So following your intuition can help you not get price gouged and actually save you money when you're trying to buy things. So for example, what I'm talking about here is I went to New Orleans. Loved New Orleans in a way, right? That's a story for another day. But I went to one place and I'm like, I love this New Orleans deck. I love this New Orleans Oracle deck. I really, really, really want it. And I forgot where I was at, but it was like really expensive. It was like $45 or $50. And I'm like, I just don't know if it's worth it for this deck. And I tuned in and it was like, my gut was telling me, Heather, I know you want it, but you can get it somewhere else. But then I was like, no, I don't want to get anywhere else. I want to get it here. And my gut was like, no, Heather, you don't want to get it here. You are right. That is too much for that. They are ripping you off. And I was like, no, I just want it from here. And so now I'm like being like a little kid in my mind with my intuition. And finally, I decided to let it win, and I did not get the card deck. And then I just go to my husband. I'm like, hey, I just can't get it. I can't get it because it's just too much to spend. And I was having this feeling like it's too much to spend. You and I both know sometimes that there are things to splurge on. And this, I was like, nope, it's not a time to splurge. And seriously, I went to a store, 2 stores down, and it was like $18. So I saved myself at least like $20 or $30 or something. I'm like, oh my God. So it can even be for like little things like that. Here's another way that I use it. I also use my intuition to know, even if I don't know when, but to know when sales are going on or when a sale is about to happen. And so I'll be like, you know what? I am going to stop myself from shopping at Kohl's. Okay, let's just be honest. That's where I do a lot of my shopping at. I am going to save it. Like I'm going to wait because I feel like I need to wait. I'm going to wait a couple of days. I'm going to wait till Monday. And then all of a sudden, Monday, I get a freaking email saying, here's 30% off. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I knew that I should have done that. This happens all of the time. And here's another little tip that I think that you might love is if you have lost somebody that either loved shopping or someone you love shopping with or someone you love shopping for, look for little signs that they are with you when you're shopping. So a couple times where my mom has really shown up when shopping is all of a sudden I'll be guided towards a part of a store that I've never been in, and I'll be guided towards like a section, and I'll be guided to like pull off like a shirt that I probably would never have, picked up on my own. And then the brand is Ellie, which is my mom's name. Or like one time I was, going through a clearance rack. My mom loved the clearance rack. And all of a sudden I felt like this woman walk next to me, and she was probably going to, find some deals too. I'm like, oh yeah, for sure. There was no one there. So I was like, yep, I think that my mom is with me. Little things like that. Even when you are shopping and then all of a sudden a song comes on, like the speakers, and it reminds you of them, or the singer has like the same name, it's like that's a sign that they're shopping with you. So I absolutely love it. But also with the purchasing decisions too, it can be for bigger ones as well. So I shared the story again today about how I was going to open up my own office in a pandemic, and I didn't. And even though Spirit was giving me signs that it was a no, my intuition was what really stopped me from making that choice. Because here's the thing, you have free will. You can do whatever the F you want, okay? But sometimes it's a lot easier to take Spirit's advice, okay? It's going to save you time, money, or energy. It's going to save you something, okay? Just think of Spirit as your parent who wants what's best for you. That parent that maybe you never had, okay? The one that's like really looking out for you. And so sometimes, if not all the time, it's just way better just to freaking listen to them. And so same thing with purchasing decisions. One more thing, using your intuition to tell if a technical glitch is stopping you from making a purchasing mistake. So this literally just happened a couple days ago. Okay, this is what happened. I am trying to buy new like pictures for my house and stuff like that because we're trying to renovate a little bit, also want to decorate a little bit. And so I think it's called Mixed Tiles. I'm not sure if you heard of it or not. I can put the link in the show notes, but it's like really, really cool. And I am like, all right, I love this. Well, I kept on trying to check out and it kept on messing up. And I'm like, dude, I got freaking 20% off. Like I need to do this today. I don't know how long this freaking sale is going to end, but guess what? After like 3 times of it not taking it, I finally had to go to bed without buying it. And I'll be honest, I was pretty bummed out because I worked so hard on that because they're using actual pictures of mine, that I had uploaded. And I said, yes, these are memories that I want on these tiles and stuff. And I was bummed until I woke up the next morning to an email with 40% off. And guess what? I did the 40% off, and guess what? No technical problems whatsoever. Now, there's also another way. I went to go buy this workshop. I don't know about you, but I am like a student. I just love learning. Went to go buy this workshop, okay? And it's a good deal, blah, 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 everything. And I am like, oh yeah. But all of a sudden, when I go to check out, it's like there's a lot of tech glitches and stuff. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Like, this is really weird. I don't think it was stopping me from checking out this time, but I think that the page kept on reloading and it was acting kind of funky and stuff. And then guess what I do? I always take that as a sign that I need to stop, okay? Like something is awry here. Like I just got to stop. Well, once I stopped, because I was like, hey, I'm on my phone right now. Maybe when I get home and do it on my computer, it'll be better. But in that time of driving home, I realized that this workshop that I wanted to take conflicted with something else I didn't have on my calendar, and I wouldn't have been able to do both. In fact, I can't take the workshop now. Am I bummed about it? Yes. Do I want to take it? Yes. But I have to trust that I am being guided to where I need to be, because if I was meant to be in that workshop, the times would have changed. They will offer it again. Something will happen if I'm able to be in that workshop. I am meant to be with my previous plans, which is the Ed Sheeran concert. He's coming to Detroit. So apparently me and Eddie need to hang out, okay? And I don't need to be in that workshop. And then once I started thinking about it more and more, do I really need that workshop? I've already taken classes on that. So maybe I don't need to learn about that. Maybe Spirit was saving me money by doing that. Okay, so even though sometimes your heart wants it, but sometimes it's not best for you or not best for you right now. But you can definitely tune intuition, and that could save you money, because that saved me money too. And yeah, it's probably non-refundable. So think about that way. Okay, so a next one is going to be, your personal relationships, okay? So your intuition can really help out too with navigating your relationships that you have in your life. It can help you decide like what to say to another person, when to reach out with them, when not to reach out to them, and also when it's time to get new personal people into your life. This is really talking about, having those vibes when you first meet somebody. Okay, that is so true. You might get a vibe and you're like, ooh, wait, I don't know about this. That hit me the wrong way. Or, oh my God, I really love this person. And I just really want to focus on that person that you love and that you're guided towards, because you're guided towards them for a reason. There's something that you can learn from them. There is maybe a kindred spirit thing going on here, but there's like this soul connection. And so that means that you probably need to spend more time with that person. And that can be even like somebody who has a podcast like me, like you need to listen to more of their episodes. It could be that, you need to hang out with them, ask them to hang out. And people are busy. So even if you've asked them to hang out once and they, never got back to you, whatever, do it again. Maybe they missed your message. Just as busy as you are, they also might be busy too. They just might not be as organized as you, and maybe totally lost it or forgot about it, got a new phone. There's a lot of crazy things that happen. Or I don't feel bad about this, because I think that this is a majority of us. A lot of times we open up messages and texts when we do not have enough time to reply to them. Like we think we do. And then we might actually spend the next few hours replying to them in our own minds. And then days go by, and then you realize that you never responded to them until either A, they reach back out to you, or B, you're going through your phone and finally realize, OMG, I never freaking responded to them. Don't take it personal. That's the big thing, okay? But it also will let you know like who has your best interests at heart. Because a lot of times what we do is that we ask people for advice. But how do we know what people to accept the advice from? Because some people give really conflicting and odd advice. And who is right? So a lot of times going ahead and using your intuition can really help out on that. And something is coming up right now, so I'm just going to share it with you. And that is, I have a rule that I'm not going to take advice from anybody whose life I don't want to live. So if they have a good life and I could see myself being that way, then bam, I'm definitely going to listen to them. But if not, then I'm going to think twice about it. So I know one time I was going to hire this coach, this mentor, and I really liked her. She was so nice. Like, she really was. And she was definitely a person who, danced to the beat of her own drum, and she was uniquely herself. And I admired that. But when she came to her work ethic and how she worked, she would be like, oh yeah, some days I can't even, eat dinner. My husband's making dinner and I eat right here. I'm just so proud of my students and I'm always here for them, which is amazing. It's amazing to be there for the students, for your clients. It is so amazing. But I don't want to spend my time doing that. I want to give as much as I can to my students and to my clients. But I also want to give so much to my husband and to my son and to my family. Yes, I have a psychic medium gift and I love sharing it with the world and I love helping other people open up to their own. But I also love being a mom and hanging out with my kid. I also love cuddling up with my husband. I love all of those things. And so sadly, I didn't work with her because it was like, I can't take advice for somebody who runs their business that way because I don't want to be running my business that way. And also, I would like to teach people how to run their business, and I don't want them doing that. I don't want them spending 12 hours in front of a computer. And so hopefully that resonates with you and you can understand a little bit of what I'm saying, even if it's not coming across very clear. All right, so the next thing is that I want to talk about using intuition for everyday life. It's going to be talking about self-care choices, all right? And this is going to be talking about setting your personal boundaries, when to rest, when to engage in activities, okay? It can just help out and it can bring a lot more balance to your life and also inner harmony. So kind of like with what I just said, there are times where I'll be at my computer all day helping out my clients and my students all of the time. Some days I'm working really long hours and that's okay because my intuition tells me that's okay. My intuition is telling me Heather, you have a full cup right now. You are good. And if you drain yourself too much today, don't worry because you have a rest day tomorrow. Or they will seriously cancel appointments. They will cancel meetings when they know that I have had enough for the day. Not when I think I've had enough for the day, but when they think I had enough for the day. So some days, I might be feeling fine and they cancel my appointments. Or some days I might be, overwhelmed and they cancel my appointments. And what I mean by they cancel my appointments is they make the other person cancel, have to reschedule on me. So if, I have any kind of meetings, appointments, sessions, or anything like that, I always trust that they are meant to happen. And a couple of times, though, it's been really neat to where I actually had to cancel on them and I had to reschedule on them. But then when I reached back out to them, I'm like, oh, hey, I apologize that I had to reschedule on you. However, I have this date available. How do you feel about that date? And they'll be like, oh my God, I can't believe that you want to reschedule our reading together on that date because that's my mom's birthday and I really want to talk to her and she's on the other side. And it'd be like, oh my God, this is so crazy. Or one time I called up a regular who usually gets readings from me every few months, maybe 3 or 4 months, maybe even 6 months. And it was so funny because I called her up for a session. I'm like, hey, I know we have a session in a few minutes, but I'm getting guided. No, we're not supposed to be doing this. And I'm like, I think I need to see you in 2 weeks. But we ended up having a mini session, but within 2 weeks, all kinds of craziness happened in her life that oh my gosh, so much stuff that we were able to meet a couple weeks later and sort it all out. So it was really, really amazing. And that's the thing is what using your intuition can do is you might be okay, I really need to see this person or I really don't need to see this person. And how you do it is you really just tune into your gut. You tune into your gut, any kind of sensations, any kind of things that you are feeling guided to do. All of a sudden you're dialing this person's number and you don't even know why. Hey, trust that it's for a reason, okay? And a lot of times when we talk about self-care, we are always talking about the physical self-care, which is really important, but even using your intuition on what kind of supplements to get, what kinds of, self-care practices to do that are going to be really good for you because what's good for you might be different from somebody else. Just kind of I think I talked about it either in this podcast or the last was going to be bromelain. Bromelain helps me out with my shoulder, but maybe it's not going to help you out with your shoulder. But I was guided towards it. So maybe you need to do this. I don't know why. I've never said this before, but maybe we all need to do this. You need to go to the vitamin aisle at your store that you go. It could even be online too. Just have them all over the page and then feel which one that you're guided towards, which one stands out to you. So just kind of like choosing a pendulum or a tarot card deck and those kinds of things. I want you to do the same thing, but with the vitamins. Which ones are you guided towards? Which one does your hand automatically go towards? When you're looking at the labels, which ones are standing out to you? If all of a suddenly you're getting memories about how you used to take this one vitamin, maybe it's time that you take that vitamin again. So for instance, for me, fish oil is coming up. I remember I used to take fish oil all of the time, and I remember how much more clearer that I thought. I haven't taken fish oil in like years, but I'm like, oh my gosh, do I need that fish oil again? So have fun with that. Go to your local store. Like, I don't know why, but I'm saying like even like rub your hands together, get that electricity flowing, open up those hand chakras, and then kind of just feel, which vitamin that you're guided towards. And you can even do this, like even ask Spirit, is it on shelf 1, 2, 3, or 4, depending on how many shelves there are, and see where you're guided towards. And then see if that's what you need to work on. And then, of course, I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving medical advice, all that jazz. I'm just saying something fun that you can do. And then maybe you can even work with your doctor to see what will be most beneficial for you. Alrighty, I've had so much fun talking to you about this today. I cannot wait to hear about how you use your intuition in your everyday life. The possibilities are truly endless, but I wanted to give you some things right now that you could use that will really make a profound difference in how you feel, how you are balancing your life, and how much harmony that you have in your life. I would have to say the biggest thing is just about trusting, and the more that you trust your intuition and what you get, the easier it's going to be to hear it, the easier it's going to be for you to trust it. You got me? I hope so. And I hope to see you in the Coffee and Cards Club, because we are going to be meeting up in August in person in Florida, and we are going to have a blast at Daytona Beach, and then we are heading over to Camp Casadega just for a weekend. So it would be awesome to meet you in person. So I hope that you check it out, and then I hope to see you in Florida next week. But if I don't, then maybe I will see you right here on Monday for the Divine Forecast. See you then.
Thanks for tuning in to the Spiritual AF Life podcast. You'll find all the links to resources and more in the show notes. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on the incredible episodes that are coming up.